So, since I have 5, I'm going to be relatively brief on my story, but I want to break my story into 2 parts, okay? Part 1 is failure. Massive, terrible, not succeeding failure in this business. And then part 2 is I'm kicking ass and taking names. All right? There we go. So to start the story, guys, I'm actually a transplant to Texas. I grew up in East Texas, so I am Texan, but I was there until I was 10 years old, and then I moved to Tennessee, which is not a deregulated market. I was there for 8 years, and I moved back to Texas when I was 18. So I'm not one of those people that had a warm market list when I got here. I moved to Austin, which is not a deregulated territory inside of Texas, got an account that I couldn't be my own energy user on, and I was serving tables at Joe's Crab Shack, going to petroleum engineering school whenever I found Ambit Energy. And so I came here, and I knew one girl in Austin whenever I moved there, and she didn't join. Okay? So I literally had no warm market. I had nothing to go with. But I saw this opportunity, and I just decided, come hell or high water, whatever I had to do, I was going to make it happen. So I started my business very part-time. And guys, I was bringing people their food. I was serving tables. I was not credible at all. So I just started tapping in and I started doing things. Part 1 of the story and failure is whenever I met John Morrison, and this man started to pour into my life, and the other people in this room started to pour in my life, I had attained the senior consultant position. While I was in school, I personally sponsored 5 of my 6 to go to regional. I personally sponsored 11 of my 18 to go to senior. Just fingernails. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I'm talking about. And I was a senior consultant, I had a pin, and whenever I met John Morrison, I had personally sponsored 20 people into this business. I had 30 people on my team. And I had no leadership. And I had no growth. And I had a $20 residual check. And that was the first 3 years of my business. Massive, horrible failure. With some excitement attached to it, because I thought that this could finally work. But guys, the equation in this business isn't time. You can stay in the business and continue to do things that don't work, and a few years down the line, you'll still have a business that's not working. Okay? When I found these people, my life started to change big time. Okay? So that's where I was, but now I'm going to tell you the story of how I got to where I am right now. So I started coming to these trainings. I met John Morrison, and I met some other people. And one rule that I want to teach every single person in this room is, if you are a marketing consultant in this business, every single day, if you want to promote again, you need to be talking to a regional consultant or above. If you are a regional consultant and you want to go senior, you need to be talking to a senior consultant or above. If you're a senior consultant, every single day, you need to talk to an executive consultant if you want to win. And when I met John Morrison, I also started to touch this lady. Glenda Farmer, executive consultant, Perseverance Award winner with Ambit Energy, doesn't get enough credit. Amazing credit. And guys, whenever I was there, where I just told you I was, you want to talk about hit the floor, hit the wall. I wanted it, but I didn't know how to do it. I started talking to this lady every single day. And she changed me, my whole world. So I started coming to these trainings. Now I was sitting right here when Don and Brenda Boyd showed me how they conduct home meetings. I had no seniors on my team, I had nothing going, but I said, you know what, Don, I think that'll work. And I left and I started to execute on that. I was right here at the library in Temple before they came over here when I met Mike Snow, that the first meeting I ever did that was of this size, whenever I did a West Texas rally, I had over 120 people there. I had no idea what I was doing. Mike drove 4 hours to get in the room where they handle the computers and everything to run my event for me. Not my business. Right? Started to change things. So what happened was, I started coming to the trainings, and we think about little course corrections. I'm all over the room right now, but I love you guys. Sorry. But we think about little course corrections, and guys, when I got here, if I'm going that way, I was going this way. And I just started going, oh man, I'm doing everything wrong. So I started doing everything right. And then I started running, I started doing it, and I started doing the business. And I started to do what John Morrison told me to do. And it was right here at the library that Richard Mwedo taught me about how he uses a hot list to work the leads of other people if you don't have a massive written list yourself, which I didn't have. So here's what happened. I started doing it the right way. I started changing my business. I started changing my life. And guys, on Monday, I promoted my second senior in my senior code. And on Tuesday, I promoted my third.